Now that you've collected all of your parts and pieces, you've written your script and storyline, you are ready to start putting it all down on the digital paper, your screen basically. So now it's time to start recording those narrations. You just read your scripts or read from your scripts and interpret, kind of modulate a little bit if you need to. And then you start inserting the music, sound effects, and all your narrations start sliding into place. Like it says, at this time, approximations are fine. Really, you just want your intro near the intro section. Don't start putting little pieces in, try to edit it, then put more pieces in, try and edit it. Try and get all of your ducks in a row here. Try and get all your eggs in one basket, then line your ducks or your eggs up, basically. You really want to have it all in place and then start piecing it all together. It might seem a little silly, but I promise it'll save you some time on the back end. Once you're done doing that, now you need to start the editing. This is the most tedious and time-consuming part for certain, but it's very important for keeping your mood, your theme correct. In other words, if your mood is fun and exciting, you really want things to be really, really tight, fast-moving, thrilling, loud probably, and if your theme is more of a subtle or subdued mood, things should go a little bit slower. And so you got to keep your mood in mind as you start editing. You also need to keep it very, very tight. Overlaps are fine. You can play music underneath your narrations or sound effects while you're talking. But make sure that as you do that, you keep your voice and your music volumes level. You keep them in line with being able to understand what's going on. Let me give you some examples of what I'm talking about here. Let's go to Audacity. We'll open up my Audacity file. Here I am back in Audacity. If I listen to this file, I've got my intro music. Followed by
this
my
is just a very quick
narration right there, and obviously that's ridiculous. I have a gap in between, but don't be afraid to even go a little bit farther than just tightening them up together. Overlap them like this. I have my voice now playing over the top of the music. Let's see how that sounds here, and I'll just click like this. There we go.
This is just a very quick.
That's almost perfect, except for now the volumes aren't quite right. So I'm going to come down here, turn the volume down on this audio track a little bit, and the narration or voice I'll turn up a little bit. Now if we hear it, it would sound pretty good. And I'm also going to throw some enveloping in down on the bottom here on the music file so that it fades out. And here you'll get a good idea of...
This is just a very quick example of it.
Remember, your narrations always have to be louder than your music, your sound effects. Your music and sound effects and everything else going on in the background cannot detract from your message or your words, because that should be the most important part. You're trying to get an issue, you're trying to get some special topic across to your listener, and they can't hear or understand what's going on if it's being ruined or overrun by music or sound effects. Let's get back to the PowerPoint lesson here, and after you're done taking care of all of this editing and garbage and things that's no fun, you're going to have a pretty good product. But before you finalize and go through with posting, you need to do one more thing. You have to get it pre-heard. This is the getting it heard section, but getting it pre-heard is even better. You want someone else to listen to your podcast, give you a different perspective. It's much like writing a paper and having somebody else critique it or run through it for you, whether it's another teacher, even your students, a friend, a coworker, whatever it is. Have them give you some feedback on it, because they might catch things that you didn't think of, or they might catch tiny little nuanced mistakes and the like. Once you're done, you export as an MP3, only because that's the smallest, most condensed version, and that's going to help you be able to host and post it just about anywhere in the world. Once you've exported it as its final mixed down version, you can now find a venue, find anywhere that will let you host this thing for free or cheap so that you can share it with everyone. And when you're done, you are going to upload your file to that venue. You're going to enjoy it, and you can, like I said, share it with everybody else so they can enjoy it as well. Here's a few examples of some places that you can certainly use to host or post your podcast. We've got Podbean.com, Blueberry, and we even have the illustrious iTunes that everybody knows about. But all of these are free or cheap, and there are millions of other ones out there as well. If you just go to Google and type in free podcast upload or free podcast hosting, you can find a ton of different ones. This ends part 2 of podcasting for the classroom.